We are now ready to bring in Fox News Sunday anchor Chris Wallace. Chris, an election cycle as unpredictable as there ever was, but now the Republicans have their nominee before the Democrats.
Yeah, that's astonishing. I mean, you think just a few weeks ago, I guess it was a month ago, when Ted Cruz won Wisconsin, and there was a lot of commentary about the idea this could be the turning point, this could be the moment when Cruz soars and Trump begins to falter, and a month later, Trump is the nominee, and Hillary Clinton on the Democratic side is still fighting Bernie Sanders. Go figure.
Go figure. KG's got a question for you.
So hi, Chris. Great to see you. Thanks for being on the show. Just want to talk about the party, and what do you think is going to happen now going forward in terms of unity? Do you expect and anticipate that we'll have some other big party leaders, important senators coming forward to get behind Donald Trump's eventual nomination?
Yeah, I kind of do. You know, the worst mistake you can make in politics is to make a straight line projection and say, well, because things are this way now, this is the way they're going to be 2 months from now or 4 months from now. And you could see how dramatically in his victory speech last night, Donald Trump was pivoting. It wasn't Lion Ted anymore. He was talking about Senator Cruz and what a strong, tough competitor he was. He talked a lot about the Republican Party and helping to elect Republican candidates up and down the ballot. I expect, you know, we've been talking about the Trump pivot, and it hasn't happened. I think it's going to happen big time now. And look, it isn't like people are suddenly in the Republican Party going to love Donald Trump, but he is going to be the nominee. And I think a lot of people are going to think it's better to stand with him than to tear the party apart. So, yes, I do expect there'll certainly be some people, we've already seen it today, some people keeping their distance, but I think we're going to see a lot of Republicans getting on board what's called the Trump train.
All right, Juan.
So, Chris, let's talk about the prospects of victory for Donald Trump. Even today, you see people talking about the electoral map. Is it possible for Donald Trump to flip enough states to win? The polls right now, the latest CNN poll has Hillary Clinton up by about 10, I think, so beyond the margin of error. A Rasmussen telephone poll, people have some questions about it, has Donald Trump slightly ahead of her. What do you see looking at the polls and the electoral map?
I think right now you have to say that Hillary Clinton is a solid favorite to be elected. Forget the polls. It's really, you look at Mitt Romney, who lost fairly decisively to Barack Obama, and you say, how many states could Donald Trump, first of all, can he hold on to the states that Romney won, and then what states could he flip? So in that sense, I think you have to be somewhat pessimistic starting out about Trump. On the other hand, as I heard his message yesterday, which is basically that America is tired of losing. We lose at immigration, we lose at trade, we lose in terms of how our allies and our enemies treat us. We need to stop spending billions or trillions of dollars overseas and start building it, spending it building up America and the infrastructure. It's a very interesting, unconventional message, not at all a typical conservative Republican message, but I could see it conceivably catching on, and in places like the industrial North, the industrial Midwest, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin. Now, a lot of those states have not gone for a Republican since 1988, and George H.W. Bush, that's 6 presidential elections. But do I think it's conceivable it could flip? Yeah, I do.
Very good. Dana?
I would agree with you on that, but I wanted to ask you, Chris, about the Democrats, and I'm curious what you're hearing about how much heartburn Bernie Sanders is giving to the Democrats, and they have some primaries coming up that he is likely to win, so this narrative is not going to be put to bed for them for maybe a few weeks.
No, that's right. I think the key is how Bernie Sanders runs against Hillary Clinton. If he just stays in the race, and yes, it will be embarrassing to her. It's embarrassing that she lost Indiana. You could certainly conceive of her losing California to Bernie Sanders. That wouldn't be good. But on the other hand, just like she won some states late against Barack Obama in 2008, and he still won the nomination and went on to win the presidency, I think she could. The key is, does he campaign against her? Does he continue to talk about her untrustworthiness and Goldman Sachs and all of that stuff? If he does, that's going to hurt her. If he doesn't, if he just makes the affirmative case for himself but doesn't take shots at her, she isn't going to like it, but I think she survives it and goes on with the nomination.
All right, Chris Gregg.
A broader question about the campaign itself, a chicken or the egg question. Did the Trump support drive the media, or did the media drive the Trump support by diminishing real estate for other candidates?
No, I get asked this question a lot. I have to say, I think to a certain degree it became a vicious or virtuous cycle depending on how you view the Trump campaign. But I think we were followers, not leaders in this. In other words, I think that the reason we put them on so much, and I think we did, all of us, whether it was cable, whether it was broadcast, all of us put them on too much. I think to a large degree it was because every time we did, it spiked the ratings. We were, in a sense, following what the ratings were, which was the response of the public. Having said that, the fact that we put them on so much, it did crowd out, take a lot of the oxygen away from the other candidates. But I think at least the initial impulse was, if you put them on, you get ratings, and we're in the news business.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Chris, thank you very much.